Level 1. The recruitment. It starts in a place that doesn't feel dramatic enough for espionage. A small cafe, plastic chairs, weak coffee, a ceiling fan that rotates like it's tired of the job. You sit across from a man who introduces himself as Daniel. You both know that's not his real name. He asks about your work, your family, your opinions about the people you've been spending time with. He never uses the word terrorist. Instead, he says things like your friends, your contacts, your group. It's almost polite. Eventually, he leans forward slightly. We think you're in a position to help prevent something bad. He slides an envelope across the table. Inside is a phone, not a normal phone, encrypted, secure. Call this number when you hear something important, he says. Then he stands up and leaves. No dramatic handshake, no contract, just a quiet understanding. You walk out of the cafe realizing something strange. Your life just changed completely, and nothing about it looked important. Level 2. The informant. At first, your job feels small, almost harmless. You're not sabotaging anything. You're not stopping operations. You're just listening, then reporting. You attend meetings, quiet apartments, back rooms of restaurants, long conversations about politics and grievances. Most of it sounds like angry philosophy, but sometimes details appear. Locations, names, dates. That's when you use the phone. The first call is awkward. The CIA handler answers immediately. He never says hello, just, go ahead. You relay the information quickly, then destroy the message, remove the battery, break the SIM card, flush the pieces. You feel ridiculous doing it, like you're acting in a spy movie. But Daniel warned you. The first mistake most assets make is believing they're not important enough to be watched. So you assume you are watched. Always. Level 3. The trusted insider. Months pass. Trust builds slowly inside the group. You attend more meetings. Your role expands. You're asked to help organize logistics, transportation, supplies, communication. You're careful not to appear too competent. That's another lesson Daniel taught you. People trust useful allies. They distrust perfect ones. So you make small mistakes. Forget a phone number. Show up late once or twice. Act human. Meanwhile, you pass intelligence to the CIA regularly. Meeting locations, vehicle descriptions, new recruits. Your handler rarely reacts emotionally, even when the information is clearly valuable. He simply says things like, understood, or continue observing. Once you ask him if anything you reported actually mattered, there's a pause on the line. Then he says something surprising. You'll never know which report stopped which attack. That answer bothers you more than silence would have. Level 4. The test. Eventually, the group tests your loyalty. Every extremist organization does. The test comes during a late-night meeting. A senior member places a small pistol on the table. Then he slides it toward you. We have a problem, he says calmly. He explains someone in the network may be talking to authorities, someone unreliable, someone dangerous. He asks you to follow the man, confirm his behavior. Make sure he's not a traitor. The room goes quiet. Everyone watches your reaction. This is the moment Daniel warned about. The moment when observation becomes participation. You nod slowly. Of course, you say. Inside your chest, your heartbeat feels loud enough to give you away. That night, you call your handler. His response is immediate. Do nothing, he says. We'll handle it. 2 days later, the suspected informant disappears. You never learn exactly what happened, but the test is over. Your loyalty is accepted, which makes your position far more dangerous. Level 5. The planner. Your status inside the group rises. You're invited to strategy discussions now. The tone changes. Less ideology. More logistics. Maps appear on tables. Targets are discussed. Transportation routes. Supply chains. You begin understanding how these operations actually function. Most terrorist plots aren't sophisticated. They're chaotic, poorly organized, dependent on improvisation, which is why intelligence matters so much. Because even small disruptions collapse fragile plans. You secretly photograph documents with your phone, memorize vehicle license plates, count how many weapons are in a room. Sometimes, you even sketch crude maps after meetings, then pass everything to the CIA. Your handler begins asking more specific questions now. What time did they arrive? How many phones were present? Did anyone leave early? You realize intelligence work isn't dramatic. It's meticulous. Thousands of tiny details, collected slowly, until a picture emerges. Level 6, the near discovery. Every undercover asset eventually faces the same nightmare. Suspicion. It happens on a humid afternoon. You're sitting with 3 members of the cell in a safe house. One of them, young, nervous, keeps watching you. Finally, he asks, "Where were you last Tuesday?" Your brain freezes for half a second, because last Tuesday, you met your CIA handler. You shrug casually. "At my cousin's place." The man frowns. "You said you were working." The room grows quiet. You laugh, not loudly, just enough to suggest the conversation is ridiculous. "My cousin owns the shop," you say. "Work is visiting family." The others chuckle. The tension breaks. But the young man keeps staring. Later that night, you report the incident. Your handler responds with calm precision. Assume suspicion will happen again. You ask if they can pull you out. There's a long pause. Finally, he says something uncomfortable. "You're currently our best source." Translation: you're not leaving. Level 7, the critical intelligence. Months later, the group begins preparing something serious. You know immediately. The meetings become more focused. Phones are collected before discussions. Locations change frequently. Finally, you hear the details. A coordinated attack, multiple targets, high casualties. Your stomach tightens. You relay the information immediately. Locations, dates, participants. Your handler's voice changes slightly for the first time. "Stay calm," he says. "Continue as normal." For 3 days, you hear nothing. Then suddenly the plan collapses. Police raids, arrests, weapons seized. The group goes silent. Members disappear. Safe houses are abandoned. Inside the chaos, you realize something. Your intelligence stopped it. But nobody will ever tell you officially. And nobody in the group will ever know. That strange invisibility is part of the job. You change history quietly. Then continue pretending you had nothing to do with it. Level 8, the deep cover. After the arrests, the organization restructures. Paranoia spreads. New leadership emerges. Surprisingly, they trust you even more now. Because you survived the purge. Which means, in their minds, you must be loyal. You become part of the inner circle. Travel with leaders. Handle communications. Move money between accounts. Your CIA handler becomes more cautious. Meetings happen rarely now, sometimes months apart. One meeting occurs in a crowded marketplace. Your handler passes beside you without stopping. He simply says, "Continue," then disappears into the crowd. You realize something unsettling. Even the CIA is minimizing contact, because the deeper your cover becomes, the more dangerous it is for everyone. Level 9, the collapse. Eventually, intelligence agencies close in. The network shrinks. Funding dries up. Communications become chaotic. You begin hearing rumors of surveillance, drones, informants, electronic tracking. The group grows desperate. Desperation makes people reckless. One night during a meeting, someone suggests executing suspected traitors. Your heart pounds again, because if suspicion spreads far enough, your name will eventually appear. You send one final report. Locations, leadership names, upcoming travel routes. The response comes quickly. This will be the final operation. 2 weeks later, raids occur across 3 cities. The network collapses completely. Most members are arrested. A few escape. You disappear quietly. Relocated before anyone realizes you were gone. Level 10. The Ghost. Years later, you live somewhere quiet. A place where nobody asks questions. Officially, you were never involved. Your name appears in no reports, no medals, no recognition. You simply move on. Sometimes you watch news reports about terrorist plots being disrupted, investigations, arrests, operations that prevented tragedy. You wonder if the reporters understand how those stories actually begin. Not with soldiers, not with drones, not with dramatic raids, but with someone sitting quietly in a room, listening, remembering, and deciding to make a phone call. Most people think intelligence work is about spies and secret missions, but sometimes it's just one person sitting inside the enemy's circle, pretending to belong there, long enough to stop something terrible from happening, and then disappearing, before anyone realizes who you were.